So, what happened? The doctor said it was an anxiety attack. Too little sleep, too much work, too much stress. They ordered me to take at least a month off to recover. How'd your partners take that news? Not so well. We're busier than hell, but they'll handle it until I get back.
Mac and his partners owned a company that reconfigured Miami office space for new tenants.
And your girlfriend? Roseanne, right? My ex-girlfriend. We decided to cool it for a while. And then I got the email from my mother about my dad selling McCarthys. I told my mom I'd help him fix the place up a bit. I still can't believe that.
Mac shrugged.
He can't work forever, and none of us want to deal with it. How's your sister doing? I haven't seen her in a while.
Despite the nonchalant question, Mac knew there was nothing nonchalant about his friend's feelings for Janie.
Still carrying that torch?
Joe shrugged.
I've yet to meet anyone I like better. She and David are engaged, man. Might be time to move on. Maybe.
He flashed the grin that had made him popular with the girls in high school. Not that he'd noticed after he gave his young heart to Janie McCarthy.
She's not married yet. Joe, I'm not gonna show up at the wedding in a gorilla suit and cart her off or anything.
Max studied the expression on his friend's face. Staged indifference, mixed with wistfulness.
That sounds a little too well planned. No worries, I don't own a gorilla suit. I am thinking about getting a dog, though.
Mac laughed at that, because Janie worked for the island's veterinarian. Joe steered the 110-foot ferry past the breakwater to the island's South Harbor port. Mac watched the town of Gansett come into view, the bustling port, the white landmark Beachcomber Hotel with its clock tower and turrets, the Victorian Portside Inn, the strip of boutiques and t-shirt shops, the South Harbor Diner, Mario's Pizzeria and ice cream parlor where Mac stole his first kiss from Nikki Peterson in 8th grade. His overriding memory of growing up there was plotting his escape. Once he finally managed to leave, he'd never looked back, except for occasional visits to his parents. Every time he came home, he counted the minutes until he could leave again. This would be his longest stay since he turned 18 and left for college. Mac wondered how long it would take before he was chomping to leave again. Salt air, diesel fuel, and rotting seaweed. The aromas of home filled Mac's senses and turned his stomach. He hated the smell of rotting seaweed.
Come on back with me,
Joe said. At the ferry's stern, Mac watched as Joe used a combination of engine power and bow thrusters to efficiently turn the ferry in the tightest imaginable space and back it into its berth.
You make that look so damned easy. It is easy, especially when you've done it 1,000 or 2 times.
Once the ferry was docked, they stood at the rail and watched the throngs of trucks, cars, and tourists disembark from the day's first boat to Gansett.
I still spend Friday and Saturday nights on the island during the summer,
Joe said, as Mac gathered up his stuff.
Come on by the Beachcomber if you feel like grabbing a brew or 2. I'll do that.
Mac shook Joe's hand.
It's good to see you, man. Been too long. Yeah.
But as Mac took a long look at the bustling town of Gansett, he decided it hadn't been nearly long enough. Carrying his oversized backpack, Mac navigated the crowds on his way to Main Street. He stopped to let a family on bikes pass and continued up the hill, mesmerized by the frantic activity. To his left, in neat, orderly rows, cars, vans, and passenger trucks waited to back onto the 9 a.m. ferry for the 50-minute return trip to mainland Rhode Island. Joe's employees moved like a well-oiled NASCAR pit crew, offloading cargo from the arriving ferry and reloading the next boat. The island relied on the ferries to deliver everything, from food to mail to fuel to milk.